Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation with me today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. Now, this is going to be about the full moon, which will be occurring in Sagittarius in Purva Ashadha. So let's talk about what that means for you and the world. Okay, so Purva Ashadha translates into the former invincible one, former unconquered. So with its name, it has a lot to do with invincibility and being undefeated. Now, this one and the nakshatra of Uttara Ashadha both have to do with these types of themes, and they're always used by the government in order to initiate certain things that they want to see successful in the long term. And this is something that you can utilize as well. For example, this was used during the pandemic when we had Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in Uttara Ashadha. It's also used to swear in presidents as well. So it's really funny that people say that they don't know astrology, but they use astrology all the time. Everybody does. Anyways, so perfect time to initiate anything that you want to see successful in your life. It's represented by the handheld fan. What can the fan be used for? It can be used to fan the flames, as in a continuation of forest fires that we might see. It can be used to mask oneself from the outside, to mask who you really are, especially because we have Saturn and Shawtee right now, which is in the third house, and the third house has to do with communications, travel, the media, which is all about secrecy. And Saturn going retrograde there is bringing out a lot of secrets that were hidden that had to do with health issues and the pandemic. So things will be in overdrive right now, trying to conceal things from social media, from the internet, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It also can be used to cool oneself off. So that being said, this being in a fire sign and having the fourth house lord, which is Jupiter, just like Sagittarius, which will be in the fourth house with Rahu, also having the sun in Ardara, which is the storm god, I could see this causing a lot of perhaps heat waves, but also storms or tropical storms or anything to do with wind, water, things of that nature. Also because Rahu has a lot to do with exaggerations. A fan can also be used as a decoration, ruled by Venus, and having Venus actually in the 8th house, this can show that things are being hidden, things are being concealed, another indication of that. This is a Viparit Raja Yoga because it is the 6th house lord in the 8th house. This Harsha Yoga can provide a healthy body, wealth, can provide a happy family, financial advantages, social respect, influence, a position of power, and many other things that can benefit. It also is known in rare cases when the head of state or the leader of a country is killed and replaced, and the country is kind of thrown into disarray. This is very rare cases, but what it means is it brings a lot of opportunities to someone after someone else's demise, and that could be death or unfavorable circumstances. Then you can profit from that. So having it in the 8th house, this also can show gaining something from inheritances, which would be the death of somebody as well. Also with Sun in Ardara, which is the lord of the 9th house, and with Mercury, which is the lord of the 10th, conjunct the sun, which is leaders, the 10th house, which is the head of a nation. So that's why there is a possibility that we lose a head of a nation, especially with Saturn in retrograde, which actually has shown leaders to expire during these times. Now, the fan also has to do with getting through hard times, being able to fan yourself off through the heat of the hard time. So this nakshatra also represents a lot of harsh activities such as war, a lot of very aggressive activities. But it's patient and it's aggressive when these things arise. Like a fan that covers someone's face, it has the ability to conceal things, conceal facts, conceal information, who it really is, its personality, almost like a catfish. There is a lot of things being concealed on social media right now. In Canada, the news has been suppressed on social media. There's new laws against that. And this is also health matters, having Saturn and Shabahista aspecting Rahu and Ashwini, health matters being concealed. Also past health matters. So things are being exposed and people are trying to suppress this. It's uncovering also your hidden talents. A lot of people will find what they didn't know they had during this time, and it can shed the unnecessary obstacles that you needed in order to bring out the parts of you that are required to be undefeated. So whatever you start or whatever comes during this time has a great chance of having a long-lasting impression on your life. And this could be people, places, or things. And it's very mysterious, and having Venus in the 8th house makes it even more mysterious. Apath, which is a ruling deity, which is the counterpart to Varuna, the lord of the oceans. Apath is also related to Aphrodite with the same letters in the beginning, which is Venus. So we could be asking the question also is what is hiding within the oceans? What was hidden from us in the oceans? And that makes me think about the incident with the submarine and how there's a lot of reports that some things were being hidden. Maybe some of these things will come out and we'll start understanding more. I do feel that a lot of facts were concealed. This will be accumulation of understanding. Represented also by Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity. So with Venus in the 8th house, like I said, some of you can come into inheritances, wealth from a shared source. That could be from a mother or female perhaps. Lottery winners, insurances from ancestral properties. It's for anything that you haven't earned yourself. So this could actually really help a lot of people. The negative side is this could be reflected by a deadly poison, especially because we have Venus in the 8th house in Ashlesha, which can be a very diabolical nakshatra if not used well. It can actually indicate awakenings too. So that's why this has a lot to do with spirituality and the occult. So it depends on how you want to use it. Also bringing up a lot of things that were hidden. It's represented by the mermaid. So there'll be a lot of leaps of faith, ambition. There's an adventurous spirit to go out and get things done. It'll help people keep going when maybe they felt like they couldn't keep going anymore, because it'll never give up. It has ultimate positivity. But just make sure that you learn from your mistakes and that the goals that you're going for are actually realistic, because this one tends to keep going and not learning from the mistakes it's made. Being a little bit too overly optimistic and not taking things into account to just go for it without really evaluating. There could be some issues with leaders doing that and not having the concern of others around you as well. So that's why it can be insensitive and cruel at sometimes, why it's the initiator of wars that can bring about destruction and regret later on. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there'll be a declaration of war, because this happens once a year. And it just means that probably the war that is going on could potentially escalate. So it's about rejuvenation of the waters of life, rejuvenating yourself. It could bring a fresh new start to a lot of people that will be good for the long run. This is in the second pada, so it brings a lot of work to be done, but you have the ability to have a spiritual and material enlightenment that can come to you. Huge abundance in those areas. The professions that this deals with is hypnotists, psychics, mediums, sailors, anything doing with water, Navy, all of that, marine experts, shipping industry, fishing, hosts and hostesses, entertainment industry, stars, rock stars, anyone who motivates others, teachers, preachers, managers, poets, artists, anything dealing with raw materials, war, weapons, army, fashion design, hairstylists, anything in the air, hot air balloons, flying profession, transport, beauticians, amusement parks, anything like that. So it'll be great for if you have to deal with anything with courage, if you have to forgive anyone, confronting enemies that needs to be done, settling debt, going to war, traveling, any activities on the water, right? So this is going to be about a lot of people going out for summer now, enjoying their time, having fun, being optimistic on the water, on the ocean, at the beach, sexual activities. There's going to be a lot of hookups because we have Jupiter in the 5th house with Rahu. So It can bring about affairs and hookups, that summertime hookup, but also it can mean a false truth is being spread. But it's great for spirituality, anything unconventional. But be careful of gambling and addictions during this time, because some could win big, but some could lose big. This nakshatra is represented by the high priestess, because the high priestess reveals the secrets. Those secrets will be revealed. Now, the sun is in Ardra with Mercury, which is combust, which is a Rahu-ruled nakshatra. So the 7th house is foreign trade relations, international affairs, disputes, partnerships with other countries, trade, business contracts, anything dealing with that, marriage, divorces. So some could see some challenges popping up in these areas, but ultimately it's for a sense of renewal. It's represented by the diamond. So, we need that heat and that pressure in order to make this a beautiful thing, which is like Purva Ashadha. So change will come to correct these things with some storms. There could also be some storms because Mercury is the lord of the 4th house. The 4th house is where we see the weather. So a lot of storms. Saturn, like I said, in the 3rd house, retrograde with Aquarius. This is more communication about health matters and exposing deceit in the previous pandemic. Transport, media, telecommunications, information technology. These things are being hidden to a greater extreme. And in some countries, the internet's being censored. This can show a lot of travel as well. A lot of travel that will be happening for the summer. I would say just be cautious of accidents while you travel. And then Mars will be in the 9th house. So laws, courts, judges, institutions, commercial powers, publications, higher education, religious leaders, shipping business, scholars, scientific inventions, foreign relations, transportation. We could see some accidents involving these things because Mars and Saturn aspect. Incidents with travel that could cause some health or death at the worst. Leaders should be careful as well. Trains going high speed should be careful. People also wanting the education system to change. This could lead to arguments, violence. And Ketu in the 11th house of gains. Through spirituality, some could be gaining, and there could be some endings to alliances in business partnerships during this time. So all depends on your chart, all depends on the dasha you're running. So just remember that this is just a very general reading. That's just a little bit that I see, and I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.